Good evening, everyone. This is Ryan Hoyme, aka Massage Nerd, and this show is brought to you by our friends at Massage Magazine Insurance Plus. Massage Magazine has been exploring touch therapies for over 25 years and has used that industry knowledge to develop the best value liability insurance in the business. And I want to thank Eric Dalton for sponsoring this presentation and offering Massage Nerd listeners to a 10% discount on all his home study courses. Use the code MN10 when you check out at ericdalton.com. And another sponsor is Shalene Taylor. She turned her struggling massage therapy practice into multi-million-dollar, multi-location success, and now is showing others how to build a purposeful and profitable massage practice. Visit www.iambiz.com. Hi everyone, this is Ryan Hoyme, aka Massage Nerd, and today we have a special guest and an early show too, Laura Allen. Welcome, Laura.
How are you?
Good. So we're going to discuss the new book we've been working on forever, it seems like, right?
It really did seem like forever.
Yep.
It was I guess a year in the creation of that, the better part of a year anyway.
Yep, and I myself, I've never written a book before, and I thought, oh, no problem, we can knock it out really quick, but yeah, there's a lot of things.
No.
Yeah.
That's what you always think. And actually this one did go faster just because we did self-publish this. I have 3 other books that are published by Lippincott, and I love them, but, with all of the major academic publishers, if you handed them a manuscript that was absolutely perfect, right this minute, it would still take them 2 years to publish it.
Oh.
That's just the way they operate, because they have such a huge schedule of books that are in progress at any one time, and revisions going on, and they have to schedule all these things with the printers and the marketing department and the artists and the photographers and all this, and so that truly is true. Even if you have a perfect manuscript, the majority of the time it'd still take 2 years to get it out. So this one was a year in the writing, and about 3 weeks of me having a meltdown with the Amazon people.
Yeah, on Facebook constantly, every single day is another thing going on and stuff.
Well, it was a learning process, so I feel like I've learned it pretty well.
Yeah. But now you can counsel people in that area then too, so that's what's nice about it.
I read a few books and articles and everything on self-publishing before I even started the process, and there was some good advice already out there, but I'm really not a very technical person. I mean, it's I remember the first time I ever got on Skype, I had to call you on the phone, and,
Yep.
and you had to tell me what to do every step of the way.
Yeah.
So, I'm just not really technical, and there was a lot of little technicalities involved in getting that thing up and running. So, there are still technicalities that we're waiting on. Several people have asked me about ebooks or Kindles, and that is out of our hands. It is going to. Amazon had told me that it would take about 2 weeks after the publication of the print version to get that up, and so hopefully that'll be maybe sometime next week. And then I had also had someone ask me about the feature that Amazon has that allows you to look inside a book, and I called them over that today, and they said, well, you're already signed up for that, but it takes 6 to 8 weeks.
Oh.
So it's like, hurry up and wait.
Yeah. And why do you think this book is so important then?
Well, something, there aren't very many books out there for massage instructors, and in fact, the only other one that I knew of was the great book that Ann Williams from ABMP got together, and that a lot of major educators contributed to, and it's been out there for several years. And our book is different from theirs. This is not meant to be a textbook that we put together. This is kind of plain and simple advice, that, and the nitty gritty, that we wish that we had known whenever we started out teaching, because you and I both had a little abrupt introduction.
Yeah.
Mine was not quite as abrupt as yours, just because I had actually previously, in a previous lifetime, I had spent 3 years teaching in public schools. So I did have some teaching experience and some teaching knowledge before starting to teach in massage school. But it's a whole different thing when you're teaching adult learners than it is when you're teaching, school age children. So
yeah, because that first quarter I was teaching, every single day I wanted to quit, just because I was so because I was so frustrated and there wasn't a lot of support and everything else. But I just didn't want to let my dad down, because he was a fifth grade teacher all his working career and stuff, and I constantly contacted him all the time too for help all the time. And he said that first year, the students are going to learn this much, and you're going to learn tons more than them, just because it's going to take a while for you to get in that rhythm then. So.
Yeah, that's probably very true, and I mean, it's still true today that every time I do a class, and I only do CE classes now. I did teach entry level massage. I did teach entry level in a massage school for 5 years, and was a school administrator for 5 years. So there is some experience there, but yes, definitely when on the first day. It's just you just kind of go, oh my God, what was I thinking? Who told me I wanted this job? It's kind of that kind of thing.
Yeah, because we're just basically, I mean, Friday I got a syllabus and a book, and on Monday I had to teach that next week, and it didn't give me too much time. And I even forgot about effleurage, petrissage, all the basic things too, just because once you get in your practice, you just do it. That's the thing. So
yeah, it becomes automatic, and you don't often stop to even remember the terminology of the profession or whatever. And so definitely a little trial by fire that we had there.
Yep. And two things I never wanted to do when I was going through massage school. I never wanted to own my own business, and I never wanted to teach. So I got and I ended up doing both. So it's just
well, something. Whenever I got involved with massage, I actually got a job at the massage school. The school that I attended is only about 2 miles away from my house, and it's closed down now. It closed down a couple of years ago, after 16 years, I believe it was, in business. But I got a job there after I sold my last restaurant, and I was in the restaurant business for over 20 years. And the owner of that school used to eat in my place a lot, and so when I walked out there in the dining room one day and told her that I was selling out my restaurant, and I said, "How about giving me a job?" I told her, I said I can type and file and sweep the floor, and I really did want just some sort of mindless job that didn't require me working 100 hours a week the way I always had in my restaurants. And so I went to work there first, and then the decision to go to massage school came after that, because there was a student clinic there, and I would see people walking into the clinic, and then walking out, an hour later, like, oh. And I decided that had to be a great job, to be able to make people feel better like that. So I went to work there. And about the second or third day I'm at work, she said, "Oh yeah, you can teach marketing." I said this on that little video that we made when we were down in Florida. She said, "Oh yeah, you can teach marketing," and I just looked at her like she was crazy, and I said, "I've never taken a marketing class in my life." But she said, "Well, but you have had a very successful service-based business for over 20 years, and that's what this is about, is giving good service." So I did actually end up teaching professional ethics and marketing to my own class when I was in massage school. Now, I was qualified to do it. I did have the college degree, and I was qualified. Even so, the board rules, or the board hadn't even it was in the beginning stages whenever I first came on the scene. The Practice Act had not been finalized yet, and all that kind of thing here. So I don't think that would be allowed today. but it was allowed whenever I started, and so I did have 3 years of experience of teaching in the public school system, and had the degree. And as she said, I had 20 years of experience as a business owner. So that is one thing that I've addressed in our book, is the fact that so many of today's students will be next year's teachers. A lot of schools just pick out their best student, and especially places with a high turnover, and they'll go, oh, here, well, you can be the anatomy teacher next year, or you can be the Swedish teacher next year, or whatever it is. And they may be very talented as massage therapists, but a lot of times the training that schools offer really falls short for their teachers, and particularly if their state law does not address that and require it. Now, a lot of state boards say, if you're going to teach sciences, then you must have at least a bachelor's degree in this or that, or a certain number of hours in the sciences. Or some of the state boards have rules such as, if you're going to teach hands-on, then you must have been licensed at least 2 years or 3 years or whatever it is, and that's good. But a lot of them do not require that teachers have actual training in actual teaching methods. And so people just get in there and struggle because they haven't had the experience, and they really don't know what they're doing. It's like learning on the job, which is not a real ideal situation for the students. Not only the teacher, but also the students become frustrated if they feel that they have an instructor that doesn't really know what they're doing.
Yeah, and why is it, though, you think that they just pick past students or current students to teach? Do you think it's just convenient, or do you think it's harder to find teachers out there then? Or
Well, to an extent it is convenient because, for example, if a school is located in a rural area or a small town, there may not be that, wealth of people to draw on. And I think a lot of schools, I know, they do get, for example, a chiropractor or a PT, or even a nurse, or someone from some other profession to teach the anatomy or something like that. But I really think ideally it's great if you have a massage therapist to teach anatomy, but it needs to be a massage therapist who really knows their anatomy and their physiology. Folks from the other professions can certainly have knowledge to share with us, but they don't really have that same perspective of coming from the perspective of massage therapy.
And luckily for me, I didn't have to teach anatomy at all, just because the college that I worked for required at least a bachelor's degree, so I didn't have it. So, I mean, because I would have been scared to death.
Well, at one point in time while I was employed at the school, we had an anatomy teacher that left abruptly, and I stepped in and did it for one term, I guess you would call it. I stepped in and did it, and I was comfortable doing it. And also, when I teach a hands-on class, I really involve the anatomy in that because, it's just so vitally important. I tell students all the time when I'm at a school teaching my prep class on how to pass the exam or whatever, one of the things that seems to freak people out is origins, insertions, actions of muscles. And a lot of times students just freak over that. And I say, you don't need to know that so that you can pass this exam. You need to know that so that when somebody says, it hurts when I do this, you know what muscles do that. I mean, it's part of being an effective massage therapist. So, in the ideal world, the people who are teaching anatomy and physiology, would at least be familiar, well familiar with massage, even if they're not necessarily a massage therapist themselves. And I think that is ideal. And I think a training program is just so important. And there are not very many formal teacher training programs in this country for instructors of massage therapy. There are a few great ones. Rick Rosen's wife, Carrie Smith, really started a great program. I don't even remember how many years ago it was, but I did detail that in the book, The Spirit of Learning. And Carrie is the former Jerome Perlinsky Teacher of the Year. AMTA honored her in that way. She and Rick have had their school for years, and she's been teaching this program for years. And then I also in the book I have listed resources for teacher training programs, and there are maybe about a dozen that I found. In the United States, there's certainly not one in every town. I'll put it that
way. Yeah, I mean, do you see that in the future, that there be more teacher training programs? Or do you think there's a need for it?
Well, absolutely, and there is a need for it. And one thing that's going on right now is that the Alliance for Massage Therapy Education is working on a project to define teacher standards, the knowledge and the skills and the abilities that people need in order to be an effective teacher. And my hope is that some training programs would grow out of that, even maybe offered by the Alliance. That would be a great thing for them to get into, because that you've been to those meetings, we've been at those meetings together, and I mean, what a great group of educators. It's just amazing to me at the sheer talent and the many years of experience that are in those rooms when we come together for those meetings. The best educators in the country belong to that organization. And what always impresses me at those meetings, when these folks are not presenting a class themselves, they're right in there taking somebody else's class, even though they may have already been teaching for 10, 20, 30, or even 40, and there's probably somebody there that's been teaching 50. I don't know, but it's amazing to me that these folks they will learn until the moment they go to the grave. I mean, they're just committed to it, to continue their own education, and that's just a great thing for me to see. I really enjoy that.
Yeah, it's really nice. Educators are actually being educated. It's like
and looking forward to it.
Yep.
I mean, that's the great thing. Something. I'm one of these massage therapists. I'm addicted to continuing education, and quite frankly, I'd be taking it whether the state required it or not. I have just never understood the mindset of people who resent having to take continuing ed. And I hear it all the time. Sometimes I do offer continuing ed at my facility. And sometimes people will call me and they'll say something crazy like, well, I just need 6 hours. Do you have anything that's 6 hours? And, they truly do not care what it is, or if it's something that they even have a real interest in or whatever. They're looking for, the closest thing, the most convenient thing, the cheapest thing, or whatever it is. And then I've had students, or not students, but massage therapists who are looking for continuing education, to call me and just whine on the phone. Well, I'm calling to sign up for this class. So I really don't see why I have to go to continuing education. And I want to say, please take your money somewhere else. Because I don't want your negativity in my classroom. It's just that kind of thing. And I hope I learn something new every day until I fall over dead. I mean, I just can't imagine getting to the place where I think I know it all, and I think that I don't need to learn anything else. So I just hope that day never arrives.
Yeah, and you're the one that came up with a great idea about donating money from the book to the Alliance for Massage Therapy Education too.
Well, I don't know how many copies we're going to sell, and I I don't know if we're going to make them rich. But something. I mean, every dollar helps. The Alliance is a nonprofit organization, and just like the Massage Therapy Foundation, I encourage people to donate to them a lot. And I did choose the Alliance, and you and I talked about this choosing the Alliance, because the Massage Therapy Foundation, now please don't stop giving to them, because I say this,
Yeah.
and I never intend to stop giving to them as long as I can. But they're pretty well established, and have financial reserves and that kind of thing. And the Alliance is a relatively new organization. This year was our 3rd annual meeting, and so we have not had years and years to build up big cash reserves and that kind of thing. We need new members. I would encourage every single person who is involved in massage therapy education to get involved with the Alliance for Massage Therapy Education. Join as a member. Join as a supporting member. We will also be happy to have corporate members and business partners and that kind of thing. If you are in a business that is massage related, then please come and join us, because we do have a lot of projects going on. We have just great people in the organization. I am helping out with the social media committee, and basically what that means is I'm talking about it on Facebook. Because I'm not technical. I'm not going to be getting on there building anybody a website or anything like that. Yeah. But we just welcome you, and I promise you will get your money's worth out of it. You will get a lot out of it. So we're donating $1 per copy for every copy of the new book that we sell to the Alliance, because I want to support them. I want this organization to survive and thrive. I think it's a very important organization.
Yeah, and they just had their 3rd conference too and stuff, and they're just growing every year. So.
Yes, we are. I was thrilled. There were more people there this year than ever before. The first year we were out in Park City, Utah, where I got altitude sickness, and I wouldn't have known if the Pope was leading the meeting. I was quite ill out there. Between the altitude just got to me. But then the next year, where were we the next year? The next year we were in Charleston.
Charleston, yep.
That was a nice humid experience. Just like it's humid in North Carolina right now. That's why my hair looks like bozo. The humidity here is 500%, I swear. And then this year we had our meeting down in Champions Gate, outside of Orlando, and it's been bigger and better every single year. And it continues to grow, and I hope it will continue to grow.
Oh, it was at Tucson, Arizona.
Where were we?
Yeah.
Oh, we were in Tucson. Where were we in Florida? I went so many places.
Yeah.
We were at the Florida State Massage Therapy Association in Florida. You were right.
Yeah.
The Alliance meeting was in Tucson. And Lord, I think it was about 110 degrees while we were out there.
Yep. And a totally dry heat too. I'm not used to that. So.
I was not used to it either, and it was very dry. But that was such a beautiful setting down there.
Oh, it's gorgeous,
surrounded we were surrounded by these big, high, jagged mountains and everything. It was a very beautiful setting.
Yep. And Leslie in the chat asks, how does Laura recommend choosing your CE courses?
I think people should choose what they're passionate about. Now, a lot of states mandate that you must have a certain amount of hours of ethics, and some states put restrictions on what you can have. Now, of course, you can go take underwater basket weaving if you want to, but you can't get credit for that. You can't get credit for it. So, my state, for example, limits you to only taking 3 hours of business. I mean, you can take as many as you want, but you can only turn in 3 hours of that towards your renewal. So sometimes the state, says, or even the national board, if you're maintaining your certification with them, they require that you have 6 hours of ethics for every renewal period. So over and above what you're required to do, then I say look for whatever excites you. And, when I'm personally choosing a class, I want to have a class that makes the light bulb go off in my head. I think, oh, well, there's something I should be doing in my practice, whether that is a technique or whether it's, business advice or some tax deduction I've overlooked or whatever it might be, or just, helpful hints for giving great service all those kind of things. So, some people are very passionate about a certain type of body work. Go as far as you can with that. If you're into neuromuscular therapy, for example, and of course, there's the neuromuscular's two main schools of thought, I guess, but it's been, watered down or diverged here and diverged there for years. And so there's that, the whole St. John thing, and then the other, refresh my memory, who was responsible for the first one? Travell, I don't remember.
Travell or Triple Point.
But go if you're into some certain modality, then I would encourage you to take education from several different teachers in that modality, because each teacher is going to bring something different to that class. They have had different training. They have had different teachers. And so, for example, if you're into medical massage, well, take medical massage, but, maybe take it this year from someone else, and next renewal period, take some other class in that area from somebody different, and keep expanding your horizons.
And another question in the chat, where's a good place to check out the providers and also quality of the class?
Well, something, I have not, I hear all the time about these review boards and chat rooms and all this kind of stuff, and I don't get on any of those things. I hate to even read my own reviews about my book. Because you're thrilled to death if they say something good, and if they say something bad, you just want to cry and go, oh no, that was my best work, and they've insulted it. So I don't know. Now, the National Certification Board has been the go-to body in this country for going on about 20 years, and some of the states require their own approval of CE providers. I guess the best thing you can do is hit your social networks and ask people, have you ever been to a class that so-and-so taught? Have you ever, taken this class or that class? Try to get feedback from people who have been there and people who have already done it, I guess, would be the best advice on that.
Yeah. And do you have any other books in the works then?
Well, actually, I am working on a book right now. Nina McIntosh was the author of The Educated Heart, which was the first ethics book specifically about roles and boundaries that was ever written for a massage therapist. And Nina passed away in 2010, and she has my same publisher, Lippincott, Williams & Wilkins. They had just published the third edition of her book whenever she passed, and she actually has made legal arrangements with them before she passed that I get to write the future editions of it, and so that's a great honor for me. But shortly after Nina passed, her brother contacted me and asked me if I would be interested in doing a little biography of her. And there is a wonderful, wonderful website that is known as caringbridge.org. And that website is for people who are suffering from, a catastrophic illness, or, they don't necessarily have to be terminal, but people who are in a health crisis. That website was started for them. And so people who are sick get their own little web page on that website, and they invite anyone that they would like to participate in it, their friends, their email list, and whatever. And they get on there and they journal about during their sickness and keep people updated about how they're doing. And Nina's post on the Caring Bridge website, she only lived for about 14 or 15 months after her diagnosis. I'm just gobsmacked at the grace and the humor. Her sense of humor was, just everything right up until the moment when she could no longer communicate. And she had over 12,000 visits to her website. So I'm taking her journal from that, and some of the more colorful comments that that people made to her, and doing this book. It's going to be it's going to be a small thing. And Nina had amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, otherwise known as Lou Gehrig's disease. And so there's some information in the book about that, and some information about Carrying Bridge, and I'm working on that right now. And then sometime this year, I have been asked by Lippincott to revise another one of their books that the author is ill and is no longer able to revise. So I do have a couple of projects in the works.
You're, and I thought I was busy.
I'm a glutton for punishment.
Yeah. And then both of us will be at the World Massage Festival. So are you bringing some books then, right?
I am bringing some books because I've had a few people contact me and say, can I get a signed copy from you at the World Massage Festival? And, you know, I usually don't haul my books around when I go to festivals because, quite frankly, you know, the cost of shipping them and everything like that is so prohibitive unless it's somewhere that's close enough that I'm driving there. But sending things on the plane, you know, financially it's a nightmare. And not only that, but, you know, that if there's going to be any luggage lost, that'll be it. You know? Oh, here I am at the festival and my books didn't make it here or whatever, and I'm always paranoid about that. If I'm going somewhere to teach a class, I have my class stuff in my carry-on bag because I'm not even going to let it in the bowels of the plane because I'm afraid it'll go up in smoke before I get to my class. So we are going to have books out at the World Massage Festival, and we will have a couple of periods of book signings sometime in the exhibit hall. During breaks or during lunch or whatever, when you're not running around like a wild person filming people. Ryan does at these festivals. He's like the world-class movie director, filming every one of these things. So if he can take a break from filming, then we will have a little book signing out at the festival, and I'm looking forward to that. I've never been to Las Vegas before, and my husband is getting to go with me on this trip, so. You know, we're going to have a little vacation and, you know, go spend $10 in the casino or whatever.
Yeah. And I remember one of the posts and stuff like that, somebody's going to break you in there at Las Vegas too, so.
Oh, I don't know. I wonder who that was.
Yeah.
Excuse me. You know, we have some good Facebook friends that are out there in Las Vegas, and some of them are people that I've actually met before. Gayla Coughlin teaches, she is going to teach Zumba, however you say that.
Yep.
She's going to be teaching that out there at the festival, and I have actually met her in person, and David Otto is out there. Chris Kelly lives in Las Vegas. I don't know whether he's coming to the festival or not, but I hope all of our Las Vegas friends are coming. We're just going to have a big fat time out there.
Yep, big time. So again, to kind of finish this out, we're the book is available on Amazon, and really soon, hopefully, it will be available on Kindle and those different areas, right?
I want to hold the book up.
Yep.
Manual for Massage Therapy Educators. The subtitle is with a special section for school owners and administrators. There is quite a substantial portion of the book for school owners, all about the ethics of owning a massage school, you know, the business part of running a massage school, and then also the administrators. As I said, I was in that position for 5 years. I'm also drawing on, you know, some of the legal knowledge that I've gained as spending 5 years as a board member, and have volunteered in various positions for some of our other organizations. So there is a wealth of information in there, and as I said, this is not meant to be a textbook. This is just good, plain, simple advice of effective classroom management and effective teaching, and, you know, a little bit of humor in there. Please, folks, you know, if you're going to teach, you've got to cultivate a little sense of humor.
Yep.
Or I'll boo you if I'm ever in your class.
And then just one more quick question. Can the small independent schools actually make it?
Can small independent schools actually make it? You know something, a lot of them have been casualties in the past couple of years just because the rules governing federal financial aid have changed to some extent, and some small schools are not able to administer financial aid. They depend on cash paying students. And, you know, the massage school that I attended after 16 years went out of business. And, you know, when my school opened up, and it wasn't my school, it was owned by someone, but, you know, the school that I attended, when that school opened here in North Carolina, they were maybe about the third or fourth massage school to open here. And they used to attract a great many students from out of town and from other towns. They had a weekend program that, you know, people who couldn't afford to chuck their job and go to school full time could attend on the weekends. And so they got people from all over the state. And now in our state, there are about 40-something massage schools and massage programs, you know, counting what's in community colleges. There are about 40. So the people who used to travel from somewhere to, you know, go to the school that I attended, you know, now there are schools in their town and they no longer have to do that. There are 5 schools in Asheville, North Carolina, probably 5 or 6 in Charlotte, and so there are just a lot, and people have a lot more choices now. So it is a difficult task. Now, you know, I know some long-standing massage schools that are, you know, smaller schools. They take 6 students, 10 students, or, you know, a dozen, something like that. And they've lasted for years, and I would have to say that is probably through the sheer willpower, determination, and good management of their school if they have managed to last, you know, any long period of time. So it is certainly something that a lot of people aspire to. And there's someone on my Facebook page that, you know, just opened her own school last year and was, of course, very proud when she graduated her first class of students. So, you know, it's like anything else. Whether or not you make it to a large extent depends on how much determination you have that you're gonna make it, and that you're not, you know, that you're not gonna let obstacles get in your way. I always have a saying, and that is, you know, what is it that I want? What is standing in my way? And what can I do to rectify that situation? So, if you're determined, you can make it.
Yep. Well, thank you very much, Laura, and looking forward to seeing you in a few weeks. So.
Yes, we're going to have a big time out there. Look out, Las Vegas, here we come.
Yeah.
You know, there's going to be so many of our friends out there. You know, Scart Dotnoff is coming down there, and Cherie Sotomayor, who you've got coming on in just a few minutes. I think she's coming, and just a lot of our, you know, it's like an old home week.
Yep.
It's like a family reunion when we get together at these things, and we certainly do enjoy it.
Yep. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Yep.